be scared of the front row either. The front row does not bite. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for coming out today. My name is Al Cameron. I'm the Director of Communication and Media Relations for Curling Canada. And today I'm the Director of handing out some really, really good news for the City of Kelowna. To get things started, I would like to acknowledge that we are gathered today on the traditional, ancestral, unceded territory of the Sea Oaks Okanagan people. I would now ask Elder Wilfred Browse Barnes to bring a welcome on behalf of the Sea Oaks Okanagan.
How are you guys doing today? Please rise. Why live in Kulum Chicken Calories? Tali Hastis Boos can allow the snail pain. The hearts welcomes to Mapanas, Hazal Tali Hast Tiliayat Sweet. Why Chikitskala can limb to can kapta nina psak lutswit skanum tus ne koi tatska kin chikitskala was mentally tak choi was koi lutswit skanum apnas kal tali why ska aim tali khasti I chasti kultum kula egal chal ja, het stemmen spoelstum de gasne paga hoe gaan taunina hoe kaap stemme iets en ka hilsted dat ik gast is spoels kan la dus niet pain. I want to thank the Creator for allowing me to say a few words, a little prayer. You know, the land that we're on here, you know, it's so beautiful, you know. We welcome you to our land. If you look at the topography of the Seal Okanagan Nation, is so beautiful. We're so blessed to be here. When I pray, sometimes I pray for 7 generations ahead of us, because I pray that the water still be clear, that the trees still be here, the animals. Sometimes we as people, we sometimes react like spoiled kids, and we're not taking care of our land. And that's what we should be doing, is looking forward to the future. Not only for my great grandchildren, but for yours also. Because we are the ones that are going to make a difference. Today, we are the ones. So, welcome to the Okanagan Seal territory, and let's get on with what we're going to do today. We got a lot of stuff to carry on. So, and good to see my friend here, Mayor. You know, our pals. Anyway, you know, it's good to laugh. Laughter is medicine also. You guys can sit down. You know, being a language teacher also, you know, I always try to promote my language too. So if you learn anything, you're going to learn one word today. And I see some new faces, so I'll give her a shot. What's Okanagan Lake famous for? That's his nickname. I believe it came to be in 1924. And you guys look pretty smart, so let's give her a shot. It's Nakha'ituk. Try it again. Nakha'ituk. First part of the word is chacha, which is sacred. Last part of the word is ituk, which is water. Sacred being of the water. Pogo pogo, I don't know what that means. My interpretation, my personal how I explain that is come spend your money. So you guys have a good afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you, Elder Barnes. Thank you, Grouse. Well, obviously there's a lot of anticipation here in the room today, and as much as I'd like to raise that anticipation, I know you all want to hear the good word. So I'm going to introduce Mr. Paul Addison from Curling Canada's Board of Governors.
Yes, Al does all the work, I get all the credit, right? Well, as a BC guy myself, I can tell you that it's a great day to be here in Kelowna, and particularly here in the Okanagan. Je suis très heureux d'être ici et pour représenter John Shea, notre président du bureau du gouverneur de Curling Canada, ainsi que mes collègues des autres gouverneurs partout du Canada. It's my pleasure to be here representing John Shea, the chair of the Curling Canada Board, as well as my colleagues, the other governors from across Canada. It's probably safe to say that there's quite a few people in this room who are a little anxious about what on earth we're doing, and we're looking forward to this announcement. And it's been a long time. But I'm not going to keep you in any more suspense. I just want to let you know that I'm absolutely, truly thrilled to announce that Prospero Place here in Kelowna will host the 2021 Tim Hortons Brier. There's some enthusiasm here. How about that? You know, there's an awful amazing amount of work that has to be done, and it goes into making one of these happen. And I think it's really important that we acknowledge those people who put all the work and effort into behind the scenes making this happen today and making Kelowna the successful bidder. We've been working, for example, with our friends at Tim Hortons going all the way back to 2005. And that relationship continues to be really more than just a sponsorship. It really is a true partnership. They support both the Brier, the Tim Hortons Brier, and the Tim Hortons Roar of the Rings to a level that just brings the support for both Curling Canada, for curling itself, and the athletes. And what they do, it really speaks volumes to their commitment to our sport. I'd like to pay tribute to two Tim Hortons franchise owners who are here with us today. And I met them earlier as I was trying to scarf a little bit of a donut before the meeting. Don and Angelo Fiacco. We really thank you. Where did they go? There we are. We really appreciate them. And not only for the support for the Tim Hortons Brier, but also for what we get later on after I stop talking. His Worship, Mayor Colin Bazran, is here, and the City of Kelowna, to say the least, has been eager to have the Brier here. And you know, the support from council and from the mayor came shining through in the bid. It was really important, and it was great to see that kind of support. So we really thank you, Mayor, and your Worship for your thanks for your work on that, and also to Tourism Kelowna and its CEO, President Lizanne Valentine, for your role in making it really happen. Because without the paddling below, the duck wouldn't move. You should know that the Tim Hortons Brier is broadcast live coast to coast. And that means that we have 70 hours of national TV with Kelowna at the center of that. And that's really the reason why, among some altruistic reasons, I'm sure, to have the Brier here in Kelowna. It's really important that the Tim Hortons Brier is looked at more broadly than just the local community, and it's the provincial government support that has also been really helpful, and they have been tremendously supportive in this bid. Premier John Horgan and the Honourable Lisa Bear, Minister of Tourism, Arts and Culture, both sent their regrets not being able to join us today. but I want them to know how much we really appreciate the effort and the contribution that they've made, and how BC has brought this national championship to our city here. Curl BC continues to do amazing work, and in partnership with Curling Canada to grow our sport. I was just mentioning that curling is a growing sport. There's almost 2 million curlers in Canada now. In not only does the Curl BC work in province, but also with its partners across the country. And I'd like to say to my friends, the CEO and Chief of Curl BC, Scott Braley, a lot of thanks for all the work you did behind the scenes. It's been really helpful and to help make this happen. And finally, the Kelowna bid committee worked extremely hard behind the scenes and put this proposal together. The job they did was an absolute phenomenal job and made it absolutely impossible for the committee that judges these things to say no. So to all of you, I say congratulations on a tremendous job well done. We know there's going to be a bunch of work ahead of you. And having been involved with a few of these myself over the years, it's tough sledding, but it is really worth the reward. I was fortunate to be here at the Senior Games in September and as a competitor, and watch just what this community could do with 4,000 seniors, us old guys, coming into town, invading all your eating spots. But the job that was done was absolutely incredible in the organization and the way it all flowed together. Having seen that, I know I can say without any question that the Tim Hortons 2021 Brier is going to be an absolute special event. So thanks very much for coming out, and I'll see you in 2021.
Thanks, Paul. I'm going to ask all our future speakers to really lean into the microphones. I'm getting reports that we're streaming live on Facebook. This is a live announcement. It's going coast to coast, so we want to pick up that audio, so really lean in so we can hear every word you say. Kelowna obviously has won this bid, and you should all give yourselves a round of applause, because when I tell you this is a competitive process to host the Tim Hortons Brier, that doesn't even begin to describe it. And while I won't name names, I can tell you there was a lot of interest from cities across Canada, and there's a big reason why. Obviously, this event is a huge economic generator for the cities that host it, ranging anywhere between $8 to $15 million in economic impact over the course of 10 days when you include the wildcard game. That's hotel rooms, that's restaurants, that's all sorts of revenue, and it takes a really special bid to convince our people, and Kelowna put one in, and you know what, you can pay a round of applause also to our next speaker, your mayor, Mr. Bazran. You were here, you were elected, I believe. The election day took place during the World Mixed Curling Championship last October, so you have a connection to curling, and I'm going to introduce Colin Bazran to say a few words.
Thank you very much, and good morning, everybody, and hopefully that's close enough to the mics. Firstly, I too want to acknowledge that we're gathered today on the traditional, ancestral, unceded territory of the Syilx Okanagan people, and thank Elder Barnes for his gracious welcome. And I also just want to acknowledge my council colleague, Gail Given, who also is our representative on the Tourism Kelowna Board. Thank you, Gail, for being here, as well as our city manager, Doug Gilchrist, and our director of active living and culture, and some of his team members, Jim Gabriel. And actually, I just want to say what a thrill it is to finally be able to announce this news. And we are so happy that this event is coming to our community. But I have to say, and Jim Gabriel will know this, we've known for a little bit that we have won the bid, and keeping this a secret has been really hard. And so it's so nice to finally be, and to have the word out, and then we can finally start sharing this, because this was something that we and the collective we here, City Council, staff, Tourism Kelowna, the Kelowna Curling Club, you name it. I mean, this was a total group effort and something that we wanted so badly, and so happy that this day is finally here. So, you know, it's already been mentioned, but I just want to reiterate that Kelowna has long been a hotbed of curling, and we've hosted large bonspiels before, but the 2021 Tim Hortons Brier is going to take us to a whole new level. We are one of the largest curling clubs in Canada, and we are really excited about this opportunity to host one of the largest sporting events in our country and one of the largest sporting events in Canada, that we've ever hosted in our city's history. And I just want to give kudos to Jock Tyre and his team for their passion for continuing to grow the sport in our community. And you're going to hear a little bit more, so hopefully I'm not stealing too much of her thunder, but Lisanne Valentine from Tourism Kelowna, will note that Kelowna was selected this year as the most effective city of our size to host sporting events in Canada, and that's an award that we're really proud of. But again, we don't do on our own. We have amazing community partners like Tourism Kelowna to pull that off, and this will be no exception. So we have an excellent track record, having just hosted, as you heard, more than 4,000 athletes at the BC 55+ Games, and of course next spring we'll host the Memorial Cup. And those things don't happen without a great team of organizers and an army of volunteers. And we're fortunate to have both of those here in Kelowna. So I want to congratulate our bid team for doing an excellent job attracting this huge event, and our sincere thanks to Curling Canada, Curl BC, the provincial government, Tourism Kelowna, the Kelowna Curling Club, the Kelowna Rockets, of course, who will have to probably go on a long road trip, so I appreciate that, Prospera Place, and of course the Delta Hotels and Resorts. So once again, thanks for selecting Kelowna, and with our devoted community of curlers and sports enthusiasts, get ready for one of the best Tim Hortons Briers ever staged, and I look forward to seeing you in the Brier Patch. Thank you.
Yeah.
So this is the first news conference that I'm running this year to announce events for the 2021, and I just want to send a memo to all the other mayors that are going to be speaking. That's the way to talk, man. Holy smokes. That's a pro right there. Thank you, Mayor Bazran, for your support. He mentioned, obviously, the Kelowna Rockets, and I was going to say a word or two about the Kelowna Rockets as well as Prospera Place. That's one of the things about our events that people tend to forget, is that it forces the tenant to go on a road trip for a couple weeks. When you think about the fact that our ice crew takes over on the Sunday before the event, that's 2 weeks where we're taking over the ice surface. So I really want to give a round of applause to the Kelowna Rockets for vacating and letting us use their home, as well as to the people here at Prospera Place for making it such a great facility for the Tim Hortons Brier. So Mayor Bazran did mention about the support of Tourism Kelowna, and there's a reason, obviously, that Tourism Kelowna wanted this event, and I'm sure Lisanne Valentine from Tourism Kelowna is going to tell you all about that. Lisanne?
Wow, good morning. It's an exciting day today for curling, for Kelowna, for the Okanagan, for BC. We're delighted to be here, and I want to add my thanks to Elder Barnes for the beautiful words that set the tone for today's exciting and very positive announcement for the region. And I want to tell you a little bit about that. So today's announcement really is continuing to build on the momentum of a strategic alliance with the City of Kelowna, Tourism Kelowna, and local organizing committees. We have a strategy in place specifically to attract and bring major events like the 2021 Tim Hortons Brier here in very specific months. The privilege of hosting the Tim Hortons Brier checks all the boxes we need in the economic development world around increased visitation, increased economic spending, and legacy for the community that's privileged to host it. So a premier national event of this caliber, held in early spring, actually helps to strengthen Kelowna's reputation as a year-round destination. And the influx of curlers, officials, and fans is going to be amazing, and we know will help our local businesses with revenue and support tourism and hospitality jobs going forward. And now here come the numbers. We expect the Brier to pull in approximately 4,300 out-of-town spectators. We believe it's going to fill approximately 9,000 hotel room nights. That's unprecedented. And as you heard earlier, we believe it's going to deliver a total economic impact in this area. I heard conservative and I heard high. I'm going to go for 10 million, right in the middle. But it is a major economic driver, and it is a privilege for Kelowna to be hosting. But beyond the numbers, probably more importantly, we know that an event like this leaves a legacy of community pride. We know that Kelowna was named the #1 sports hosting city, and thank you, Mayor, for acknowledging that last year for our size category. But what that means is local athletes here, young athletes, get to see a national and an international event right here in their own community. That's going to inspire future dreams and future legacies as well. And we know that the 2021 Tim Hortons Brier will generate extra attention this year if you think of the timing. It is leading up into the 2022 Winter Olympics. We're going to have increased interest in this event. And we know that 70 hours of television coverage nationally will be a legacy on the tourism side. It will help us establish our growing reputation for Kelowna as a four-season playground. So Curling Canada, thank you so much for the privilege of hosting this event. Please know Kelowna stands ready for 2021.
She talked about the television. You should know, in fact, it's international. This morning, in fact, I was just emailing with the production people at ESPN. All of our Season of Champions events this year will be streamed live in the United States on ESPN3, and that has been an annual thing, so I see no reason why that wouldn't continue for the 2021 season as well. So it's south of the border, and I can tell you from talking to curlers from overseas, I don't know how they do it. I probably don't want to know how they do it, but they watch it. They watch the Brier overseas, in Asia, in Europe. They figure out a way. And this is, it's not just national exposure for the city of Kelowna, it's international exposure. And it really is amazing. And that's why our players, when they go overseas, and we've got guys with Purple Hearts here today. I'm going to introduce them right now. Rick Sawatsky, Steve Laycock, Andrew Nurpin, former BC champions. They played in events like they know that the Tim Hortons Brier makes them stars outside of their home province, outside of their home community. They're stars all over the world because of playing in this event, and so is the host community. Paul Addison mentioned about Curl BC, and Scott Braley, I'm going to pump your tires just a little bit, the CEO of Curl BC. When I say this guy works tirelessly on behalf of the sport of curling, it's ridiculous. Every waking moment, I am sure, you're thinking about ways to make our sport better, not just in BC, but across Canada. And we really would not be here today if it weren't for the support of Curl BC. So I'm going to introduce Scott Braley, the CEO of Curl BC.
Thanks, Al. You do realize Al's from Kamloops, right? So don't give him too many secrets here. But he is taking some notes over there, I noticed. Well, it's always a little daunting speaking near the end here, although I think Brendan has to come after me, but I'm hoping to be able to add some value by talking about the next 15 months, this lead up that you have. First of all, though, congratulations to the city of Kelowna, Kelowna Curling Club, led by Jock Tyre, the GM there. You're going to do a fantastic job, so well done. The other speakers have covered most of the thank yous and the mentions, but I wanted you to know that 2020 marks the 125th anniversary of curling in BC, 125 years. This will make the 15-month lead up to this event very special because there'll be a number of opportunities to promote curling right around the province, because we're going to have in all 5 major regions special events that we're hosting, all sorts of celebrations, and this will be an opportunity, of course, and by the way, you should be at the Brier in 2021. So, for example, in April, the Kelowna Curling Club itself is hosting the 2020 World Mixed Doubles and the World Senior Championships right in the club. And in September, Curl BC, the BC Sports Hall of Fame, and the Central Okanagan Hall of Fame are going to host a special summit here in the city to help promote curling as a heritage sport. So that is a partnership we have with those two Hall of Fames. These and other special events should lead to a sold-out Brier in 2021, so let's make that happen. Thanks very much to Tourism Kelowna and the province of BC for putting together such a strong bid and for Curling Canada to support that initiative. I think I'm just moved you into your email here, sorry. Curl BC looks forward to an exciting 15-month lead up to this event. It's going to be great. Thanks very much.
Holy smokes, what'd you do? There we go, it's all good. I can tell you a couple other things. Ticketing packages will be made available early in the new year, probably pretty close to the start date of the 2020 Tim Hortons Brier in Kingston, so you can start looking for those at that point. Also, we're going to talk about the Kelowna Curling Club, and Scott mentioned what a great job they do. Jock Tyre is just a tireless supporter of our sport, and we held a Business of Curling Symposium in Canmore this past summer, aimed at curling clubs in Canada. And Jock's Club is one of those clubs that we hold out there to say, do it like they do it, because they do it very, very well. And Jock Tyre, you should take a bow for all the good work you do there. And yeah. And a couple other things that were brought up. Well, first of all, the Olympics. The Olympics, not only is there awareness because of the Olympics, but the Tim Hortons Brier 2021 will have very significant Olympic impact, because the winner of that event will go to the Tim Hortons Roar of the Rings, direct entry into the Tim Hortons Roar of the Rings, and that's where our 4-player curling teams for the 2022 Olympics in Beijing will be decided. So there's a lot on the line at Brier besides the chance to represent Team Canada at the World Championship in 2021. So anyways, the Kelowna Curling Club, spectacular host of events, and really did a great job to make today happen. And to talk a little bit more about that is the club president, Brendan Willis.
Thanks, Al. Mayor Basran, Elder Wilford Barnes, fellow speakers, and honored guests, on behalf of the Kelowna Curling Club and our 1,200 members, I am here to tell you that we are more than excited. This has been something that I know Jock has been talking to me about for the 5 years as I've been the president. And when we were in the room learning that we actually won the bid, Jock, he had no expression. Even walking in here today, he didn't believe we won the bid. He had to hear it, and when I turned around and saw him, we both gave each other a big high five. So, the last Brier here, of course, was 1968, a McDonald Brier back then. It was held at the Memorial Arena just down the street, and it was won by Ron Northcott out of Alberta. Bernie Sparks was there sweeping the stone to the very end, and if anyone's seen that picture, it's got to be the best picture in curling history, because Bernie Sparks is leaning over the rock with his broom, and there's a smoke hanging from his mouth. Needless to say, the sport has changed a lot. With us, these 3 athletes, part of the Jim Cotter rink, goes to show the fitness that's required now for the sport. We're blessed to have world-class volunteers here in Kelowna and the Okanagan, and they're going to jump at the chance to support Curling Canada and the city of Kelowna to make this the best Brier ever. Here to give us a little bit more history. When I saw that Jock wasn't actually on the agenda, I had to bring him in, because I don't know if there's anyone in Kelowna more excited than him. I know, Colin, you showed a lot of excitement. Appreciate that. But Jock, please, say a few words. Thank you.
All right, I'm sneaking in here. I'm not supposed to be Al. I do appreciate you not kicking me off. Brendan, thank you for giving up your time. For everybody who's here, in 1968, the city of Kelowna hosted the Brier. It was obviously a massive event for a very small town at the time. There was a huge parade, which I'll be working on for our event, and a sold-out venue for every draw. But Kelowna is not only tied to the Brier. The trophy has actually been to Kelowna many times that a lot of people don't know about. In 1964, a Vancouver rink under the name of Lyle Dagg won the Brier. And Lyle worked at Crown Zellerbach just down the road. And his family was raised here in Kelowna. 1964 was the year I was born. That was the the second Brier for British Columbia. In 1989, all the way to 1989, Pat Ryan defeated Rick Folksrink of Bert Gretzinger, Rob Kofsky, and Doug Smith. But few people know that Pat had already moved to Kelowna that year in 1989 when he represented Alberta, and so the trophy came with him. In 1994, the next time Pat got to hold the trophy, he was skipping a rink from Kelowna with Rick Folk, Bert Gretzinger, and our very own, who's here today, Jerry Richard. And so it was back in Kelowna again. In 2017, the Kelowna Curling Club was fortunate enough to host its 75th anniversary, and thanks to Curling Canada and the staff there, the trophy for the original McDonald Brier was here in Kelowna, as well as the Labatt Tankard was here in Kelowna. As well, they were kind enough to send over the Scott Tournament of Hearts trophy, which was won by our other Canadian champions, Kelly Scott, Gina Schrader, Sasha Carter, and Renee Simons, coached by our very own Jerry Richard. In August 1999, Skyreach Place opened, and RG Constructions finished its project. It's a new beacon, and thousands of people were talking about the events that would be hosted here, local, national, and international sporting events. As we've seen recently with Skate Canada, and are going to see with the second Memorial Cup here since its inception, it is a great home for major events. Before the very first piling was driven in this ground, we were already talking about this arena hosting a Brier. And now a communal dream has come true. I am truly humbled to see a lifelong dream of mine finally come true. I have attended many Briers as a spectator. I've had the privilege to work as a journalist and a volunteer at the Brier. I've even stepped on the ice as a coach. But now for the first time, I can say that I will have the Brier in my hometown. I would like to thank Tourism Kelowna, City of Kelowna, and Curling Canada for all that you provide. Not just the event, but the infrastructure, the players, the volunteers, and most importantly, the fans who will make all of this possible. We'll see you all in 2021.
Well, if I'd known you were going to be that good, I would have put you on the agenda, man. One other point that you should own, two other points. The patch. Everybody's familiar with the concept of the patch? I see a lot of nodding heads. I'm liking that. Going to be over at the Delta, which is just a great facility for it. So that's great news. This won't be the first curling event that's ever been held here. I was intrigued. I figured, Rick Sawatsky, you played in the Grand Slam here in 2016. Steve, you did. Andrew? I don't know if you were on that one. But there's one other guy in this room who actually curled in that event. Jock Tyre. Who knew? He had honorary Swiss citizenship that week, and he was playing for a Swiss team as a spare. So there you go. One other point of interest, the dates, we've been nailing those down. I can tell you, I didn't have the chance to sneak these into the release. March 6th to 14th. March 6th to 14th, that will be the dates in 2021 for the Tim Hortons Brier. So that just about concludes everything. Thank you all for coming out. Media will have scrums up here if you'd like. There will be a lunch served. There's some amazing Tim Hortons product over there. Thank you to Angelo and Dawn for bringing that product. Thank you all for coming out here today. Lunch is served.
That's okay, sorry I stood in front of you.
So there you have it, Curling Canada announcing just moments ago the 2021 Brier, the Canadian Men's Curling Championships, the Tim Hortons Brier, that is. The Canadian Men's Curling Championships will be held at Prospera Place March 6th to the 14th of 2021. Tickets will be going on sale, we understand, early in the new year, early in 2020, right around the time that the 2020 Tim Hortons Brier will take place in Kingston, Ontario. So once again, recapping 2021, Tim Hortons Brier at Prospera Place in Kelowna. The second time the city is host, the first time in 53 years. At Prospera Place, I'm Wayne Moore, Castanet News. Let's go up here.